武士道とは死ぬことと見つけたり、修羅道とは倒すことと見つけたり、我悪鬼羅刹となりて目の前の敵すべてを切る。
What up guys, it's your boy JK Dripmode and we're in my original man cave. And for those that just tuned in, when I started this channel I started collecting and I started building in my apartment. And now that apartment no longer exists because I got this place, my house. So this is my man cave. And it's just I wanted to end the last video of the year in this cave. So before I even get into the dial or the figure, I want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year's. I can't believe we're finally at the end of this crazy year, but in the same time it was a positive year for us toy collectors and dial builders. So now I want to talk about the toy that I want to build a dial for. So let me show you the toy. Boom! Here is haohmaru from Samurai Showdown. Now this is Dorm Collectible, guys. This is actually one of my favorite brands of toys. Besides NECA and McFarlane. But I want to say these guys are on another level because the quality is definitely very impressive and next level. So it explains why these figures are usually pretty pricey. I've been collecting them for a while. I got the Mortal Kombats and I got the Street Fighters and then the Kings of Fighters. And now I got Samurai Showdown haohmaru. Now, when I was little, Street Fighter was a huge thing for fighting games. And then after that came Mortal Kombat, came Killer Instinct, and then we had Samurai Showdown. And I remember when I was little, I would go to coin laundries or comic book stores to go play video games. And I saw this new red cabinet in the corner. And all of a sudden you hear this Japanese tune with some Japanese dialogue, with some Japanese characters coming down the screen. And you had haohmaru right in front. And he was there in front of a cherry blossom tree. And all of a sudden you see shing shing. And then the shrine and the cherry blossom tree was chopped and it was falling apart. And that's what reminds me about haohmaru and that game. So that's what today's dial is going to be about. It's the cherry blossom tree. So I can't wait to do this dial because I'm actually going to step outside the box and try different things that I normally don't always try. So let's get to it, guys. Okay, so here's the sketch. So it's really going to be in regards the simplicity of it is just going to be a base. And I have a circular base that I'm working with. But then I gotta build the two little tiny temple shrines that go right here. And then I gotta leave a space for haohmaru to be like praying there and doing his thing. But right here is gonna be the tree, and then around the tree on the floor is gonna be kind of like a ring of blossoms. And then this is gonna be the cherry blossom tree. I'm gonna start off with 20 gauge wire. Got these at Hobby Lobby. And this is what I'm going to do to make the tree. And then after this, use aluminum foil to kind of make a base and then start putting clay on top of it. Pretty, it's like a slinky. Like a slinky. Alright, so next I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting each of these 20 gauges. And I'm going to try to get as many as I can, but I'm going to cut it the size of this ruler. I believe this is 25 inches, 24 inches. So I got here 20 pieces and they're all 25 inches long. So what I'm going to start doing is start twisting up to this part right here because this is how tall I want it. And then I'm going to start breaking the branches. 8 pieces, one. So these 8, I'm gonna start twisting.
It's not an easy skill to learn. I've been practicing it for many years.
I made the base and I started making some kind of like sub branches, and then sub branches, some more branches, and looks like a tree, right? All right, next up, I'm gonna be wrapping the 20 gauge with aluminum foil to give it its like strong base. So we're gonna fold it so that it could be thicker, and you can start wrapping it around the wires. So then let's start. Okay, I'm gonna continue that to the rest of the tree.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water.
They're going to do something stupid.
So yeah, now it's balancing. So I just gotta keep making the base bigger. Putting a lot of foil just to kind of give the base a stronger foundation, and then so that I don't have to use so much clay. So now the next thing I'm gonna do now, I'm thinking of playing with my DAS clay just because that's the experience that I have with in regards to clay. I'm pretty sure you can use other clays, especially the ones that you could just bake in the oven. But I like this one just because it's air dry. So gonna start adding some clay, shaping it, and then little by little start bringing out the details. Alright, so I'm just gonna take a piece and just start adding. And water will definitely help expand the clay, and it's drying time, so don't feel like you're being timed in regards to putting the clay. So this is where I'm at right now. It's not complete, and then now I'm gonna keep adding and now sculpting the details of the tree.
Thickly frosted cake is for Kevin.
It's not an easy skill to learn. I've been practicing it for many years.
So this is a tool for sculpting, and has these metal wires, so I'm gonna use this to create the details on the actual tree. Because this clay, it air dries, wetting it helps. So I'm gonna douse it and then start. There we go. Just to be able to get those cool details that I'm looking for.
Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water.
Alright guys, so this is 2 days worth of work, and it's looking pretty cool. I'm very happy with the outcome so far. Now, playing with the clay was a little bit tricky because this is air dry clay, so what I was worried about was adding all this clay all wet and then it kind of falling apart. So what I did was that I started adding clay to a certain extent and then let it dry and then continue the process the next day. You see a lot of this wire. Now this is a decision that I'm experimenting, because I'm gonna start putting, like, once I paint the tree, I'm gonna put the cherry blossom leaves all over the top. But I'm gonna be using these the wire as a way to keep them up, and these wires, you're not gonna be able to see them. And I really just want, when you look at it, just to focus on branches that I actually made, and then I could hide these within all the cherry blossoms. Okay, so now that it's dry, next up is going to be the prime. So I'm using Mod Podge and black acrylic paint, and you mix it. And let's start priming. Alrighty, so next up I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be painting this with two colors. I'm gonna be using a smoky beige. I'm gonna be using espresso as a base color. Let's get to it. Put a base coat of almond and espresso brown, but I'm going to be playing with caramel. I'm going to be playing with warm buff, and I'm going to be playing with nutmeg. And then I just right now went over it with nutmeg, and now I'm going to go with caramel to add some highlights. Okay, so what we're doing is basically like a dry brush. Okay, and these multiple layers really gives this tree, you know, characteristics. Okay, so the results are looking pretty cool. Now next up is a black wash. Yes guys, a black wash. And you know, that's gonna add more details to this. It's gonna enter in the cracks a little bit more, just to define them. You know, I like to dramatize a little bit of the details, but it looks really good so far. So I mean, it's really a subjective choice if you guys want to go into it with another layer. And here we go, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So just look at that little area. By doing that black wash, look at that detail that just popped out. Let me keep going. Look at that. And again, you don't have to be pretty about it. Just let it drip. Let it drip. And let the drips just take its course. Look at that, that looks really cool. Now obviously it's gonna dry, so it's not gonna look so wet. And I know some of you are like, well, that's too much. No, it's gonna dry up. Alright, so I'm gonna continue with the rest, let it dry, and then we can get into the actual cherry blossoms. Boom, got tons of this purple leaf. Now the reason why it's purple, cherry blossoms is supposed to be pink. In Samurai Showdown, the cherry blossom looks purple, and this is the color that it looks like. I sat here and started like looking and understanding the material that I bought here. Now this is an actual metal wire, so I can actually bend it however I want, and that helps me be able to bend it in a way where it works with the trunks that I've created. So it's gonna look like I'm gonna have to glue them and then re-add some clay and then fix that by painting it all over again on this areas. I'm just gonna have to repaint that area though, but it's gonna be great. This is what I ended up doing to add it to the tree. So it was just simple just to glue it and then add clay, and then now I just gotta repaint these areas, but it did the job. So time to prime it and paint it. Okay, so next is we're gonna be building these two shrines that's next, that haohmaru is in between. So I don't know if you guys saw my dojo video. I have a whole bunch of these lanyards that were from a Christmas ornament. So what I'm thinking is cutting this plastic cylinder that I have from a toy that I broke apart from the dollar store. But yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it right here and add it to the bottom of the actual shrine, and then make it look like concrete. Gotta treat it like a saw, and it'll cut it, but because it's hot, the plastic is re-gluing itself. Look at that right there. See, it's still not cut, but now you can bend it and voila, snaps right where you cut it. And then now I can actually glue these guys. I put the lanyard on top and then build the builder base. So I'm gonna glue the top of the lanyard to this and then build a base, and then we got our shrine. Alright guys, so it's time for the base, and this is where I'm gonna be putting the tree. Before I even start mosh podging this and working on this, I gotta trace where the tree's gonna be at. So it's gonna trace this area. Alright, so now I know where the tree's gonna be positioned, and I'm gonna start prepping this for mosh podge. In the reference for this, the terrain is really plain. So what I'm gonna do is just go with the traditional mosh podge, cover it, and then start putting the turf.
It's not an easy skill to learn. I've been practicing it for many years.
Not bad. So what I'm gonna let it do is I'm gonna let it dry, because I have a feeling that it's not 100% glued in. And I could put another layer and probably go over with the adhesive a bit. Alright, next up is the shrine. The clay has been a really good result, so I think I'm gonna keep going with the clay. So I'm gonna start building the details, or build on top of these shrines and add the details that I'm looking for.
I can empty your mind. Like water.
Alright, so what I did is I added a base with clay, added some rubber bands, added some details for the column. Then I also added some exhausts underneath, just to reinforce it, but also to make it look a little bit more shiny-ish. And then add these guys on top.
You have 3 scenes to film.
Not bad. I actually forgot that I had this grid in my inventory, and this will be perfect for the grid inside. And I want to experiment with this first before I just call it with this. So I already started laying out each piece. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it and spray paint it, and then see if it looks good on this. Okay. Alright, so it's all nicely folded, and let's see. I Let's see if this fits good now. There you go. So here it is. Now it's time to dry brush. Was able to put the screen and the light to get this nice effect. Okay. Yeah, it's looking much better. I got this leaf left over. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scrape all of this off, and the reason for that, I'm gonna have it sprinkled on the bottom of the base where the grass is at, because leaves are falling down. So I'm gonna do to the rest of them now. I started gluing some of the cherry blossoms. Ta-da-da-da. Here you go, guys. Here is my Samurai Showdown Cherry Blossom Tree Diorama for haohmaru from Storm Collectible. And guys, this project was fun. And it gave me an opportunity to step outside the box and delve with areas that I really wanted to work on. And I really wanted to work on my clay sculpting skills, because I really don't play with clay as much as I want to. And the real reason why I had this opportunity is that I really wanted to make sure the tree looked organic. I've seen a lot of people with really good skills that could carve trees, but there's always this element of like, it doesn't look as realistic as you want it to. I mean, besides the palm tree, besides a regular tree trunk, like to get those characteristics, it's a lot harder to do it when you carve foam. So clay gave me the opportunity to give me that outcome. These moments right here define this tree, just like us. You know, we go through moments in life that at the moment we don't know what's going on, but in the long run it defines us, and we can look back and see where we went. So here you can see like where this tree has been through, you know, how it grew, how it became so beautiful. So that was something that I really wanted to capture with this diorama. Now everything else, I would say that it's very simple. It was nothing out of the ordinary. I'm using a circular foam base, but then these guys right here, I used them in my Ninja Turtle Samurai Dojo video, where I found a bunch of lanyards from a Christmas tree or a decoration, and I was able to utilize that and add it to this dial. And also this is 25 inches. It's probably one of my biggest dials in regards to height, but it's definitely unique from all the ones that I've ever done. So I'm just very proud of this dial, and it definitely gave me the opportunity to learn and get back into that childlike wonder, because when you're creating, sometimes you're flying blind and you don't really know where you're going to end up coming up with, but man, it's enjoyable. It's one of the things I love about creating. And guys, I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for being there and reaching out, and for the support. Some of you guys have actually became friends. I talked to you guys, some of you guys on the regular, and it's awesome. It's actually really fun and have the opportunity to talk to a lot of you guys. But yeah, guys, this is it. This is the last video of 2020. I had such a great time building this dial and the ones of that I've presented this year, and we can continue creating amazing dioramas for the figures that are coming up next. Alright guys, well guys, I hope you guys learned from this video. Guys, please hit that like button, write a comment, and if you haven't yet, hit subscribe. Now guys, I'll see you guys in 2021, so I'll see you guys later. Peace.